go. Hello, my lovely people. I am here with the amazing Sue Kennedy. Let me introduce you to Sue. Sue's the founder and CEO of the Author Academy, Sue Kennedy Publishing, Author Academy Bookstore, and art. Wow. With over three decades of book coaching, publishing, speaking, and most importantly, real life in the trenches business experience, her view is radically different. Sue appreciates and shares with listeners that writing your story is a journey that allows you to access your untapped, forgotten, and ignored passions and energies that will get you moving and producing, hopefully. Everyone has a book inside them. It's how we share our story that counts. Sue sometimes is referred to as the people whisperer. I love that. For her coaching skills that brings out the best of people. She's known for her practical, street savvy style. Sue's fusion of real life stories and her conversational techniques connect with her audience and yours at an intimate and intense and individual level. With her signature masterclasses and courses specifically designed created for authors, and everybody has a story in them, Sue provides her clients with strategic, creative, and surprisingly fun techniques to express their hidden genius and tap into the full extent of who they are and what they can become. Sue shares her success and guides others through her five-step unique process to write and publish their own book. She is a diploma in art therapy, Neurographica specialist coach, and she's an international intuitive coach artist. And these she has brought together to create her own unique program to empower others. I think that's amazing. People in the coaching realm talk about, you have these like buzzwords, empowerment and growth and all that. And yes, that's what we're focused on, but getting to there takes something. And I was taught that the difference between coaching and therapy and psychiatry in actual therapy, as a coach, we start from there's nothing wrong. Not that there's nothing, there's nothing, that we're not starting from trying to heal an illness, or we're not saying that you're bad and wrong. We start from, there are things we need to get through to get to where we're going, but we are, we have the tools, or we can get the tools, and we don't need to, I don't want to say dwell, I want to say wallow to get to where we want to go. How many books have you written? Just because I remember you saying it, and that's.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having
me. You're welcome.
And yes, I have written over 10 books.
Wow. Subjects ranging from?
All kinds. So the very first one was diabetes, because Mum decided to get diabetes and we knew nothing about it, because normally it's hereditary, but no one in the family had ever had it. So I did some research on that and did a bit of a book on that. Then that was more like an e-book, but it was quite lengthy. Then the first actual in my hands book published was on anxiety and depression, which was it was what happened to me. So it was my sort of journey, and I did it more to heal myself. And then I thought, well, why not publish it and put it into a book so I can help other people? So that's what I did. And then I've got books on how to write a book. I've got ones on social media, self-help. So there's all kinds of different types of books. The only thing I suppose I haven't done is fiction. Maybe one day. Maybe when I retire.
Well, if you're still writing, does that consider retiring?
No, I don't think so. But I might have more time to work on my own, is what I'm probably, I suppose, getting at. But who knows? Anyway, I might find time. I just don't know when I would do it. I'm busy helping everyone else.
Yeah, but I think that's wonderful, because you said something, we all have a story within us. I think I read that in bio. I don't know. But sorry, I'm a little bit of a grasshopper today. But we have that story within us. If we can get it out there, we do a lot in this modern world of social media and trying to get people to know us. I think it's so important that we know ourselves.
Definitely, because writing your own, like if you're writing your own story, especially, you yeah, you will tap into parts that you've probably tucked away for some, reason or another, and writing your story will bring those to the forefront, hopefully. I mean, my process that I use, I we try and get that to come through because for some reason, and there's many reasons why, but there's some reasons that we do push them to the back and sort of try and bury them is because it's too painful. And but the thing is, if we leave that in there and leave those, dread and fear and all those horrible emotions in there, if we don't get rid of them, like get them and bring them out, they can turn into disease. So it's very important that we don't leave them within ourselves because it can become very dangerous to do that. So
Yeah, it's funny that you put it that way. We say disease. I have had the opportunity. I've done too much in my life sometimes, I think. But I studied homeopathy, and there is a lot in homeopathy that it's energy healing. So many people are like, yeah, whatever. But one of my takeaways from homeopathy is the word disease. It's dis-ease.
mm,
If you just pull it apart, and we always do that. All the stories that we've built up in our minds about ourselves and all the things that have happened to us in our lives have created who we are today. And sometimes if we can just pull out the dis-ease from that,
mm,
the stuff that made us uncomfortable, but makes us has us stop doing things because of that little tidbit that happened when we were, in first grade and raised our hand and got the wrong answer and said, no, I'm not going to talk in public anymore. That exploration of who we are is where I see what you do is brilliant.
thank you. Yeah, because a lot of people also don't think they're good enough. That's a big thing too. A lot of people have that I'm not good enough within them. And it is because, yeah, maybe a teacher. I mean, I had one of those teachers that told me I wasn't going to be, I would never amount to anything. Was,
Oh, isn't
her,
that lovely?
yeah, it was her exact words. And I went, wow, really? I mean, thankfully, I'm a fairly strong person. And I took that and went, I'll show you. But not everyone is like that, and I get
Yeah,
that. So, it's a lot more difficult for some people. I dug my heels in after that, but some
yeah.
people can't or not, don't know how, I suppose is a better way of saying it than can't,
It
because everyone
takes
can.
something. It takes something to say, I'll show you. You said that.
Mm.
I got this. Sharleen isn't working up to her potential all the time.
Oh, really? Wow.
Most of the time. I'm like, interest me, engage me, put in the work. But if you're boring me, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And that's part of the story as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't think they were taught. Maybe they are these days, teachers. I'm not sure, but they probably weren't taught to be able to work out. Like for you, obviously, you should have been in a higher grade class so that you weren't bored and you were able to work to your full potential.
Mm.
So, and you weren't bored. And then to be able to then also go, oh, well, Sue actually is maybe someone that needs a bit more of a, guiding hand. So you put her in this class. Not saying that you're more intelligent than I am. It's just the
No,
way we are and the way we're made up. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just we learn at different learning levels. That's all. That's all it is.
but the system isn't designed that way. I read something really interesting. The current school system is designed in how they train. They taught in Sparta or something. It's rigid. We're training people for this, and everybody needs to fit into this mold. And there's
Oh,
no way. There's no place to. It's a different world. It's been a
yeah.
different world for thousands of years, and we push people into systems that just don't work for them.
Yeah, well, actually, when you think of that, we've actually turned out pretty good considering.
Absolutely.
Dear.
Yeah, but we get caught in, and then bureaucrats. It's it's kind of crazy, and that's why you have people like Montessori, and who want to stretch out, and anthroposophists. Sorry. They don't start kids reading until they're 7 or 8. But you know what? That's not appropriate for all kids. There is no. I think honestly, if somebody can homeschool your kids. I know it's
Mm,
hard, but you can give each kid what they need.
yeah,
Um,
and you as a parent know them better than anyone, so you know what they need, what their skills are, what level they're at, what they can, how far you can sort of push them at any given time.
yeah,
So yeah, but
that's
yeah, but I
but
think
we're hoping parents know that. That's the flip side.
yeah,
There's no you don't need a license to be a parent.
no, no, that's right.
But I'm really interested in you have a process
I do.
to teach people how to write. Could you give us a little bit of insight into that, please?
I can. So it's a unique 5-step process so how it's started, like it's got the usual bits in it of how to, outline the book and all that kind of stuff. So it's got the normal stuff, but the reason why mine is unique is because I'm an artist as well. And I love doing my art and I love writing. And I went, well, which one do I choose? Which path do I go down? And I thought, well, why do I have to choose? Why can't I combine the two? So that's what I've done. I've actually brought the two together so I can help people write their story and the processes that I have. So I've got a couple of different ways of actually tapping in to your subconscious and bring forward what needs to come forward. And so I've got the canvas is one, but I thought I had just the canvas, where we go to the canvas and we paint. But then I thought, I know myself, sometimes I'll go to a blank canvas and go, oh, geez,
Sorry.
where do I even start,
Right.
And that can actually make people quite anxious. So I thought, well, if someone's actually anxious, that's not going to be good for them. So I need another tool. So that's where I became a specialist in Neurographica, where it's just paper, pen, and we just sort of, I have a bit of a chat and we draw neuro lines.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Right, I'm going to stop you there. What does that mean?
so they are. I don't have anything here in front of me that I can show you, but there are. It's well, maybe I do. Hang on, 2 seconds. I think I do.
I will.
Just down behind me here, that I can show you. Here we go. This one. So here's an example of what it looks like.
Oh,
So all those lines are, of course, the thinner ones are actually neuro lines. And so what we're doing is we're creating new neural pathways. So and when we're drawing that, and I'm asking questions as we're drawing that, and then all of a sudden you get all these ahas that you never actually it like we're tapping into your subconscious and having your subconscious is having a lovely time with this because it's like, oh, and then of course when you put color to it, it's even more excited, and then it's the inner child that comes through.
wow. So you start with the color, or you start with the neural line?
No, we start with the neuro line, and then we do color in after that. But it's just amazing because there's different what's called algorithms. So there's different types of processes depending on what the situation is for the client as to which algorithm we actually use, and we follow that, and it just, yeah, as I said, I just sort of like there might be, for instance, we work out what the cause is. So we come up with the cause, and then also what the goal is. So we'll have the cause and the goal, and then of course, all the other bits and pieces that sort of tap into all of that. And yeah, it's kind of difficult to explain it. You have to kind of
No,
actually
I
do
think
it.
I think you've done a great job because I look at it, as you're speaking, I'm like, it's like unraveling a ball of yarn.
Yes, exactly.
That's how I see it. I'm a crafter. I guess that shows that in that little analogy. But when you or raveling a bowl or rolling a bowl of yarn, my goal is to get here, but I need to take all this process to get there. I love
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, and as we go through it, like, as I said, I'll ask questions, and then as they're doing the neuro lines, and then what you have to do is round the corners, because anything round, like a circle, is harmony. Where if it's a sharp corner, then that's, fear, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. So but as you're doing that, rounding that all those neuro lines off, your subconscious mind is like feeding you all kinds of amazing information, and you just start to get all these aha moments, like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, even when I've done it for myself, it's brought up some stuff where, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that that was a block I had.
Wow. So okay. So now I I've drawn all my lines on this piece of paper and I've colored it in. How did that help me write my book?
So as we're going through it, if you've got some kind of block, so it depends, I suppose, what the topic is that we're discussing. But say it is
Mhm.
that, I'm writing my story and I'm blocked, I can't seem to move forward with it, as an example. So I would then, of course, ask all the questions of, well, you know, what's stopping you? What's actually stopping you? And people start to stop and think of that. And then as they're drawing and rounding and everything, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, right. That's what's stopping me. And then we also tap into what's going on with your body, like where in your body you feel it, what emotions are coming up for you. So they all give us hints as to what's going.
See, there you go. Sorry about that. I'm gonna edit that back. But it is, there's so much to, it's coaching. It's
It is
coaching.
coaching. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it's coaching it's directed. I feel like it's something, okay, we can do this in one session and move on. It's
Yeah.
not a long, it's not, doesn't seem like such a long drawn out process, which kind of
No,
helps.
after one session, you will get an answer. You can continue on and do other sessions, but in one session, you definitely get an answer anyway. You might wanna
So,
delve deeper, and that's, as I said, that's when maybe we go and do more sessions, but yeah, it's very amazing.
so really amazing stuff. And I'm going back to, we talked about writing a book and telling your own story. You need to know your own story in order to tell it. And how
But
much, yeah,
yeah,
but
no, but that's the thing, like, yes, it's your story, but sometimes people find it very difficult to actually write it because, as we were saying, like, they just get blocked because there's something either traumatic has happened, or they can't remember what they know, because we all know everything, it's just whether we can remember it.
accessing it. And there's a lot to be said for figuring out how to access the stuff that
Y
we don't want to know, the unease, the dis-ease. There we go. We'll go back, bring it back to dis-ease.
Exactly.
And so there's a cathartic, it's cathartic to write your story, to write your book.
Very much so.
It doesn't have to be, I'm putting this out there, it doesn't have to be for any other purpose than that.
No. No, not at all. I mean, some people come to me and say, "Well, I don't actually want to publish it." Well, that's fine. You don't have to. You can
Mhm.
write it just for you. And at the end, if you want to print one copy just for you, fine. If you don't, that's fine. But, even some people I've said to them, well, we can get one book published and we can have a burning ceremony if we want to. If that's going to make you feel better, because some people, it's that, I mean, there's many reasons, but I get a lot of people say, "Oh, I think it's going to hurt a lot of people if they read it, and I don't want to do that," which is fair enough. Then maybe it's like you leave the book, and once you pass, maybe let them read it then.
Yeah, or publish it as a piece of fiction and change people's names.
Well, I do suggest that as well, exactly, because yeah, it doesn't have to have the real names in there.
And it's interesting to me that you say that people are going to be hurt. I think if we're writing a book and people are hurt by what we're writing, or we think people are going to be hurt about what we're writing, as much about us as it is about them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's an interesting exercise just to see why do you think people are going to be hurt by that?
Mm, exactly. And like that's the thing. It's like, but is that you thinking they're going to get hurt? Like maybe they won't get hurt. You don't know.
Yeah, and maybe it's something they need to know so they don't continue doing whatever that is.
It might be
Um,
something they need to know. Yeah.
yeah, it's like we as people are so. I'm making a broad general statement here. We're so involved in our little, what's going on in our circle and in our head and this little space that I think two things happen. First of all, you can say something to someone and you think they'd be hurt by it, and it doesn't even register.
Mm,
And we don't get how we could be helping people as well by saying these things. Well, it would hurt me if I said it, so I don't want to say it to somebody else. Well, maybe you could word it differently so that they don't get hurt by it.
mm,
Maybe you can make it constructive. I was always taught to say, when you're giving somebody a review, start by saying something nice, accent the positive, and then bring in, well, maybe you could fix this, or maybe it would work better without, it doesn't have to be perfect.
mm, exactly. And the thing is, it's your journey that you're
Exactly.
writing about. And I mean, you don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, of course, but it's your journey. And I always say to people, maybe you need to just write that at the beginning of the book. This is my journey and it's from my perspective. And I don't mean to cause any harm to anyone that reads this, if they feel that it's, I don't know, resonates with them in a way that, but maybe it won't. That's as you say, maybe it won't. Maybe they
Funny
don't,
you
they're
say,
not even aware of it.
funny you say that, and I immediately I go to, I was thinking of Prince Harry's book, which kind of just offended everybody across the board. Not related at all. It's just what popped into my head, and
Mm.
the hamster said
That
it
was,
had to come out.
but that was from his perspective. Now I've started reading. I haven't read it all, but it just sort of, you know, I felt sorry for him, like, from because it was from his perspective of how he saw it. Now, the other
Um,
rest of the family probably saw it completely different.
that I think is a really important point because we always see things from our perspective, and everybody does. We
Mm,
all see stuff from our perspective, and we don't know how it's going to land.
exactly.
Um,
That shouldn't stop you from writing.
it shouldn't. No, that's exactly it. It shouldn't stop you. It shouldn't stop you from getting it out on paper.
No.
What you do with it afterwards, there's always there. Have somebody else read it if you think that there's somebody not connected read it. Have you read it
Yeah, yeah,
and see and see if it lands the way you think it would land. I'm
exactly.
loving that. I love the whole idea of it. I love the incorporation of the art with the discovery with the writing.
Mm,
And there's so much we are They say 65% of people are visual learners.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
bringing
realize
it in,
number.
yeah,
Right.
it's huge. 65 to I saw 69%, but I saw as well. It's huge,
Mm,
and to be able to incorporate that into something else is really giving people a gift. So,
definitely.
I mean, thank you for doing that. And now
Thank
I'm
you.
going to ask you to give my listeners a gift. Can you give them something they could implement now, today, take away from this talk to could be help them write the book or help them find out what's stopping them?
Well, I have got a link that they can go to, and there's some resources on there that could help them. And
Awesome.
it's, yeah, so it's www.authoracademy.com.au/gifts. So GIFTS.
Okay, I think I have that.
I think I
I'm
sent it
just
to
seeing if I'm just looking at what I'm putting. Yep, it's going to be in the program notes. So you guys don't need to remember that. It will just scroll through
you.
the program notes. It will be right there.
So there's a few different resources there that are free. And all you need to do is just sign up. So just supply your name and email. But there is a 30-day free writing challenge there, which is a great little tool to get you started. Where every day for 30 days you get an email. There's a picture. You have to look at the picture for 5 minutes and then write about it for 15.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's really good. It's really a lot of fun. A lot of people love doing that. But that's yeah, it's a really good tool to help if you're sort of stuck and just don't know.
It just sounds like a really good tool to get started. I have just recently restarted journaling. I'm always looking for prompts, so I love that.
Yeah.
But do you journal, by the way?
I do art journaling
Okay.
more than I do writing. Yeah. I find that I don't know, that side of me yearns for that kind of journaling more so than writing.
Oh, I love that. I'm saying that a lot. I know. Love that because journaling doesn't have to look a certain way,
No,
and I
it's
think
whatever
that
yeah,
stops a
it's
lot of
whatever
people from doing it because it has to look a certain way. It has to be
yeah,
in the book and has to be this.
no,
There you go. That I think is the takeaway right there. Guys don't get anything else. Journaling doesn't need to look a certain way. You can draw, you can color, you can paint, you can write or not write. Take photographs. As long as there's some way of there's continuity. I think there's a lack of continuity in a lot of what we do. Something you do every day that has you sit down or walk and focus inwards.
mm, yes, definitely, and that's it. If you there's no other place to start, you're right. Just grab a journal and just start jotting some things down. Just start writing and just see where it takes you.
Or grab some colored pencils and start drawing.
All that, whatever makes you happy is what you do.
Awesome. So, Sue, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This
Thank you
was
so much.
really, yeah, this was lovely. And, we're half a world away from each other, which is even
We are.
the marvels of modern technology. So
Yes.
I'm going to say goodbye for now.